Um, Thank you so much to everyone who watched my first video. Thank you for enduring extremely bad lighting. Today I was able to get this done while not burning too much of daylight. So we have wonderful lighting provided by nature. And then as well, uh, thank you for coming on this journey, not only discussing the boys' journey, but on my personal journey, trying to discover or rediscover what it means to create content and to take on the challenge of making videos and learning new skills. Okay, so that being said, let's get back into the story. So some story time, and as Sound of Music teaches us, let's start at the very beginning because that's a very good place to start. Oh, that earworm. Like, I've been having that drilling in my mind. I want to say in my ear, but it's in my mind for the past 24 hours. So hopefully after this is recorded, I can let it go. Okay. So, the boys' story doesn't, for me personally, so maybe this is a little bit more of my story, doesn't necessarily start the moment or the time when I found out I was pregnant. It happened a few months before that. So Marius and I were in a social environment, and while we were chatting and going about, we had a little bit of a discussion about what we all define as success. And we were all talking about our personal definitions of what success is and what we need or what we deemed to be successful, and have we reached that point. What was prevalent, or what I think was the same for everyone, was the fact that none of us felt like we've reached success yet. And that our definition of success is ever changing and ever evolving. With this ever changing and ever evolving definition of success, we realized, or I realized, that mine has changed dramatically, especially at that point, where in my mid-20s to late 20s, if you asked me what I feel, what is success, I would have told you that I think it has to do with identifying your talents, being able to adapt or to learn or to upskill within these talents to the best of your ability, and then to use these talents to benefit not only yourself but those around you and your community. To a large extent, this is still my definition of success. What has changed is the finer details in what I feel my talents are and what I feel my community is. At that stage, I would have told you my talents were, I might have said something like teaching or storytelling or writing perhaps, or being creative and thinking outside of the box. And those are still all true. But what I realized, especially within Mudnets and our relationship, is that I also had this very strong need to nurture and to be a caretaker. And that is also a form of a talent. And I wanted to upskill, to learn more, to develop this talent, and to use it. What the other element that changed was my idea of community. Previously, I would have said that my community might have been, I wouldn't go as far as saying it was a global, but at least to be beneficial for your city or town that you were living in. And that can be reflected to what I did at some point, where I was a journalist and later news editor for a local newspaper. And to me, at that point, it was very important to be beneficial to that community, to that town that I was living in. And now, becoming older, I realize that my community is a lot smaller. It's more those that are very close to me. And I'm probably trying via these videos and the Facebook page and everything to connect to my previous self by touching or creating or interacting with the greater community and benefiting them as well. Learning from each other's stories, um, events, challenges, how to overcome it. So I think I might be going back to that. But at that point, it was my smaller community, my smaller unit. And with a big shock, I realized that I don't have this smaller community that I can help. And it kind of created this void inside of me. So mine had obviously noticed a few days after, or maybe it was even like probably a few weeks, that I was walking around with this inner conflict. Obviously not all the time, but jumping up every once in a while. And he, at one stage, asked me what's going on. So we had opened the doors to have this discussion about what we feel is success and how that created inner conflict with me, and to find out what his vision, dreams, and how he sees his future and where I play into it. And obviously the discussion of starting a family came up, since that was a major need and something that was implanted in me. And I feel this, for me personally, not everyone has to agree, but I believe that that need was implanted in me by God, that it was created, it was a void created by God that needed to be filled, not only by him, but by, like starting a family and om 'n doel uit te reg. Yeah. Okay, so I can't really find the words to describe what I was feeling there, maybe sometime. But in any case, so we had this discussion about what our future looks like. And even though we were very much settled and committed to each other, we did realize that maybe financially we weren't quite ready yet, and that maybe in the physical world, like, we weren't really there yet, and we're not sure if we're emotionally there yet as well, like from a perspective like that we feel adult enough to really take this on. But in the same sense, we also realize that I do have a biological clock, and I've seen people around me that are battling to get pregnant, and that also needs to be taken into consideration when making this decision, because you don't want it to just put it in the back of your mind the whole time and then reach a point where you're not able to get that. So it's all about timing and finding the perfect timing in your life, etc. So we decided that we'll take a decision by not taking a decision because we're both scaredy cats. But we decided that we're going to stop taking any contraceptives. So that was the decision we were making, but we weren't taking a decision in the sense that we were going to tell everybody we're ready to start a family. And we were kind of japoing that part of it all. So yeah, 6, 7 months later, on the 1st of January 2019, I took one of, definitely not my first pregnancy test, but this one was the very first one that was positive. And at that point, I kind of had all these other emotions creeping up on me again, and I was kind of overwhelmed with the responsibility that was coming on and everything that we were going to have to deal with now, and being grown-ups. And then back to the main theme, or the message that I would want someone to take away from this is, and hopefully Samuel and Benjamin to take away from this, is there'll never be a time where you're going to reach the point of being successful. There's always going to be another challenge. There's always going to be another goal that you set. And I hope and wish this on you, because if you reach that point where you say, okay, now I'm successful, you're going to sit back and relax, and you're going to stagnate. And I don't wish that on you, Samuel or Benjamin. I want you to challenge yourself and to grow and take yourself out of your comfort zone. But in the same sense, there's never going to be a time where you feel like, now I'm an adult. Now I know whatever there is to be known. That's also not going to happen. I've been waiting for this, and this was probably like the biggest freaking disappointments in my life, that you don't get to that point where you're like, now I'm an adult. Now I am able to deal with everything life throws at me. Because it doesn't matter if we were in the best financial situation and we were stinking rich, or if we were the most mildly tempered, intellectual, emotionally enlightened people ever. Nothing would have prepared us for the challenges that were about to come. So, just a reminder that sometimes it's okay to be imperfect. And it's all about being imperfectly perfect. Acknowledging that you're imperfect, acknowledging that you can still grow, and keeping on with that road ahead, and keeping whatever goal you have for that moment, keeping that ahead of yourself, and just keep on moving, even if it's in a snail pace and you stumble multiple times. As long as you're moving forward, that's all that matters. Thanks so much for listening and watching and sharing and loving and everything else. I'll see you soon. Bye.